Hey guys, welcome to another episode of As Told by Ari. I believe we're on episode 6, and I'm just gonna say, like, straight off the bat, say that this episode is gonna be very different than most of the other ones I post. Definitely gonna be a little more personal. Nothing really socially political about it. More so just trying to spread the word of love and growth out there for 2018. You know, we've seen so many tragedies happen. We've seen so many losses of life that, you know, personally, I often forget what kind of a blessing it is to be here and to have the platform that I do. And, you know, I just, going through the hardships that I do, I really, really want everyone to know that, you know, you're stronger than what you think you are. And, you know, in the wake of all these tragedies, in the wake of everything that's happening, sometimes it's important to remember just how much of a blessing it is to still have time to fix the things that have broken you. And I don't necessarily mean that that's, you know, the other end fixes what they've done. I more so mean that, you know, you yourself have the ability and the power to really right the wrongs that you've set up for yourself based off of, you know, other people's actions or their inaction. That being said, I'm actually just going to dive right into this episode. For those of you who don't really know a lot about me, while my mom and my stepdad have been together for a good bit of my life, I did not meet my biological father until I was 16. For those of you that don't really know what that pain is like, it's a hard pill to swallow to know that someone helped create you, you know, and not care. It plays into some of my subconscious issues. It plays into my overall issues, and it's definitely played into, you know, how I've seen myself and how I've been able to grow as an individual. That being said, I really am just really trying to help everyone understand that while, you know, love can still be shown, you know, while your parents can do everything they can to protect you from the world that's around you, they can only do so much. And sometimes your parents can actually be the biggest perpetrators of the things that hurt you most. And that kind of sucks. Kind of definitely sucks for sure, but, you know, being a 22-year-old, you know, turning 23 next week, I actually had like a real epiphany today. And I just really hope that, you know, my story can help somebody deal with, you know, whatever insecurities, whatever thoughts or you know, inconceivable notions that one may have about themselves based off of the actions or inactions of their family members and, you know, some of their close friends. Because what we're not taught is that toxicity can be anywhere in your life. You know, we're not really taught that toxicity can come from, you know, your family members or, you know, your close personal friends. We're more so told that toxicity comes from those people that really just don't want to see you succeed, or, you know, the outside forces that you can't control. And that's a false narrative. I think that's a false victimization of the idea that life happens with you and for you and not to you. So just diving into my story a little bit. Again, my parents have been together. My stepdad and my mom have been together since I was about 7, 8. They got married like 2007, I think. But my whole life I had never knew who my dad was. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know what he was. I didn't know who he was. You know, I didn't really know anything. And, you know, while you can tell me and my siblings absolutely are siblings, you know, it had always been in the back of my mind, like, why do I look so different than my family members? Like, I had a spitting image of my mom. Like, you can make the debate that I was cloned, really, because it's like, Dad, who? And, you know, I was fine with that for a while until I really started to come into my own. And, you know, I had really no answers to the puzzle pieces that made up who I am. And I don't necessarily mean like my personality, the way I think. I mean, like, literally, who am I? You know, who am I? So when I was 16, I finally met my dad. It was after this really traumatic process for me personally. I had found out that, you know, the person I thought was my, you know, dad long before my stepfather. He wasn't and he wasn't a good guy. So there was a lot of trauma and a lot of pain from that, to be completely honest. So when I finally met my dad, my biological dad, I actually wanted to get to know him. I wanted to, call him dad, and I wanted to have the experiences that I feel I missed out on. Even though I had a father figure, it didn't change the fact that, I wanted the attachment of someone who actually helped make me. And granted, my parents were very young when they had me. My mom was definitely a teen mom. My father was a teen father. So it's not like they could really control all of the circumstances that they were put into by having me at such a young age. But it doesn't change the fact that, even after we had met, it was very, my dad was very distant. He still is very distant. Ever since I've met him, we've hung out 3 times. Talked a handful of times. He sent me one package to school, which was pretty cool. I still have the box with his name and address on it and stuff. But it really hurt that, after meeting me for the first time, that he didn't seem to care to stay in my life. It seemed like he didn't care enough to stay consistent with it. And I am both making this video for myself and for anyone that sees the video that knows the pain of someone being a part of your creation and not really giving a damn. That's very damaging. It's very damaging. While step parents can fill in the role and, siblings fill in and blah, 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 it's not the same thing as having someone is out there who helped make you, who could give a singular care less that you're a life that's on this planet because of them. And I know that a lot of people don't see that as a big deal, especially because, it's not like my mom didn't get remarried and all that, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm a young woman, and as any person who is on a self-discovery journey, any person who really is just trying to grow, it's important to know where you come from. And something that, and this is the main message that I really want to get out with this video this week. And I'm sorry if it's coming out a little weird and all over the place. It's just, I'm in a very complicated place right now. Never apologize for your feelings. Never apologize for how someone else's actions have made you feel, and never apologize for wanting an apology. It doesn't make you crazy. It doesn't keep you hung up. It doesn't take away from the fact that your feelings are your feelings. And if there's one thing I've learned, being 22, turning 23 next week, is that I want 2018 to be a year of growth. And, this morning I woke up, I had my dad messaged me on Messenger about a year ago, and I left it unread for a year at least, and some change, to be honest. Because I felt like that was just the most, don't give a flying F type of way to go about talking to me again after, virtually ditching me for like the 3rd time in my life. You'd think I'd be used to it, but you don't get used to it. So this morning I was kind of on this I was just thinking really, and after having a really good conversation about like my relationship with, other family members, yesterday with my friend and my boyfriend's best friend and him, I really had to take the time to understand that if I want 2018 to be an actual year of growth, then that means that I have to be uncomfortable with the fact that there are things that I haven't dealt with, and I need to find purpose in that uncomfortability. So I messaged him. I texted my father. I texted him, and I messaged him on Facebook too, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if this might make me a coward, this might make me, naive, but I couldn't call him. And it actually turns out that the text message I sent the number to, the number I sent the text message to, wasn't his number. So it's a really good thing I sent it on Messenger too. But it was just more the principle that, like, after a whole year and some change, I finally was able to open a message and find a place of, I guess, comfortability in myself to know that at the end of the day, you are the only thing that holds you back. And I don't say that to, I don't say that to come off as hoity-toity. I don't say that in a way that means that, like, I have all my life figured out. I simply mean that when it comes to the struggles that I've allowed myself to go through, when it comes to the things that, I could have at least controlled in the situation, the thoughts that I could have definitely got more of a handle on, I didn't, because I was so hung up in the fact that somebody didn't care. I allowed it to keep me held back in relationships. I allowed it to hold me back when it comes to, like, my siblings for a while. And even though I'm sure they don't really know that, but it's held me back. It's added to my anorexia. It added to the depression I felt with it, the anxiety of it all. And this is really just a reminder for those of you that you might not know where you come from. You might not know your parents. You might not know who made you or why you're here, but 2018 is supposed to be a year of growth for all of us. And regardless of what that personal growth means for you, if that's getting over an ex, if that's getting over the death of someone, whether that's, just making personal goals that you're striving to make, at the end of the day, don't hold yourself back. Don't apologize for your feelings. And at the end of the day, understand that your healing process should be for you. Now, I texted him not expecting an answer back. I have no idea what's going to come out of it. I have no idea what this is going to do for my, my personal well-being. But I can say that stepping out of the comfortability of just dealing with loss and dealing with the feelings that I felt, I do feel better. I feel a little more at ease with the whole situation. And at the end of the day, your growth and your healing should be for you. This was all for me. And, again, whether I get an answer or not, whether I get a call back or not, whether I get a text message back or not, the entire point of me reaching out was so that I can process my feelings with the whole situation. Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I'm sad. Yes, I'm really, really, really confused. But I do feel a sense of happiness for myself to know that I have officially started the process of healing from something that I have let hold me back for 22 years now. And, I really hope that regardless of how you find your healing, regardless of how you find your growth, I pray that it's healthy for you. And I pray that you don't let naysayers and people who tell you that your feelings are, you're being sensitive, you're being sad, you're being this, you're being that. Don't let someone else's idea of how you should be feeling about a situation control your feelings about the situation. I am so sorry for that in the background. I wanted to do this outside, and I'm already 13 minutes in, so I'm not going to start this video over. I'm just not going to do it. So I'm sorry you to hear that in the background. But again, I'll wrap it up. I won't make this video super long. I won't make it super drawn out, but know that your healing has to be for you. Not for the satisfaction of making someone upset. Not for the satisfaction of feeling like you were right. And definitely not for the satisfaction of making someone else feel miserable or alone. You have to heal and you have to grow for you. And, if that's something that I haven't learned in 22 years, well, luckily, the week before my birthday of my 23rd year, I got to learn that. And, I hope that you guys have the support groups that you need in order to do exactly what you need to do to heal. But if you don't, understand that no one's going to help you heal but you anyway. You're not always going to have friends there to pat you on the back for taking a big step. You're not always going to have people in your life that understand why you felt you needed to take the step in the first place. There are going to be people that patronize you and condescend you for feeling the way you do. And I'm telling you to never let that stop you. Don't let it stop you. Don't let it make you feel insane. Don't let it make you feel stupid. You feel the way you feel because that's how you feel. And you should never apologize for it. No one gets to tell you if they hurt you or not. That's not their decision. And at the end of the day, it is 100% within your right to feel the feelings you do and to seek the healing that you need to in order to get over the hurt that they've caused, regardless if they accept that fact or not. I love you guys, and you know, I guess I'll keep you updated on what's going on. I hope for the best, but at the same time, I understand that, you know, even if I get no response, even if I get, you know, literally nothing back from it, from him anyway, I have the satisfaction and the comfortability to know that I am continuing to grow, and I'm not going to let someone's inaction stop that growth. And I'm also not going to let other people make me feel crazy for my feelings anymore. And that's a message that I really hope gets out for everybody, because everybody deserves to know that their feelings matter. Regardless if you get the actual recognition you deserve or not for them, they will always matter. And if they don't matter to anybody else, they definitely matter to me, because I really felt compelled to share my story, more so just so that everyone understands that you're not crazy. You're human, and that's a really beautiful thing. So I love you guys. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm sorry, again, I'm really sorry for the sounds in the background. I really wanted to be outside today to really clear my head and like to get through this without being super emotional. So yeah, I love you guys, and thanks again for watching.